now, coming to you live from atop the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's the one, the only, PUCL Podcast.
It's PUCL! PUCL! It's PUCL! PUCL! Pokemon Underground Champions League, oh yeah! PUCL! PUCL.
Welcome to another episode of the PUCL Podcast. I'm your host, Trainer Thatch, here today with my wonderful co-host. We've got the one and only Lord Jushiro.
Some say good morning, everyone.
And we've got Lynian.
Hello.
And as always, welcome to the PUCL Podcast. PUCL, of course, standing for the Pokemon Underground Champions League, a nonsensical name we came up with in 2007, where we talk everything Pokemon from the trading card game to the video game to everything in between. Yeah, we have a wonderful show today. Actually, this is going to be a nice laid-back show. I'm pretty excited. The topic is not super heated, and we just get to talk about a thing, and I'm happy.
This is the internet, Thatch. It's going to get heated.
Is it?
It's not. I don't have the energy in me for a heated argument. I'm just going to go, it sounds like a you problem, man, and that's going to be it.
I don't even know what arguments there are to be had. I'm going to be honest. I find myself in as I age that the amount of strength any of my opinions have becomes slightly weaker with time, right? Like the amount that I care about defending them is just that much weaker because it might not be worth the time and energy to just keep pushing, and you're going to make less friends that way.
I feel like I'm worried about how quickly I'm feeling myself fall off the caring cliff a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's normal, guys. I've been here a long time, longer than you guys.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, we actually have a nice age range here, right? Like,
right.
We have a nice age range.
I was there when the whole Dexit thing happened, and everyone was hot and lated, and I'm like, what is wrong with you all?
Yeah, I know.
I would like to thank the Pokemon Company for killing my joy in things and my life. Because legitimately, my life has been so much happier since I stopped caring about things. And Dexit was one of the things that made me just go, you know what? Maybe I don't care about anything a media company does ever. And I can just chill.
Must be a nice life that Pokemon did that for you and not like the rest of the world.
Yeah.
See, everything else I could handle because like I was just used to things going wrong, but like Pokemon was always good, and then it wasn't, and then I was fine. So you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't feel where it ever wasn't, but okay.
It's all good.
Caring too much for cartoons and a video game.
I love cartoons and I love video games.
Yeah, I love them too.
But the older I get, the less I seem to care. So.
Yep. Welcome to my world.
Yeah, I look at you, Shir, and I go, I'll be there soon. and I aspire to that. This isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, I look to Thatch owning a house and go, yeah, no, but you know, it's good to dream.
You're not. I feel so bad about my home ownership for so many reasons. Because like I have a lot of friends who are around my age who are like trying to do it, and I feel really bad because I bought my house right before COVID.
Oof, yeah.
And like the market is so different.
Now the percent is from I think 3 to 7 or something like that.
Yeah, and the mortgage rates are insane compared to like my mortgage rate's like at 3%. Yep. Like what am I? I'm not doing anything. You know, I can't. I'm not buying a new house with a 7% interest rate, but
we reach peak Pokemon adulthood.
Yeah, this is peak adulthood.
Speaking about mortgage percentile on a Pokemon.
So what are your benefits like? Like, what are your what's your benefit? Who's your healthcare provider?
Welcome to Geriatric.
This is how you guys know we're not doing this for a job, listeners, because we just look at our audience of 15 to 24-year-olds and went, let's talk about mortgage rates.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, we don't do this for a living. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah, we just talk about our lives. That's what we're here to do. And Pokemon's one of those things we like to talk about. Full circle. Boom. I did buy a box of Temporal Forces this week. So I got questioned by people, and this is genuinely a good question to ask me. why do you keep buying the physical cards when you don't go to events anymore, Thatch? And the answer is, it makes me happy. So don't yuck my yum, okay? Like,
Exactly.
let me have my good time buying the cards.
This changes how I read that. Were you asked by like a friend, an internet stranger, your accountant, your wife?
These are a lot of questions.
Was there an intervention banner?
No, there wasn't an intervention banner. It was it was friends and coworkers. I can tell you that. I was just like, because
not looking good for the intervention.
Because a lot of a lot of them know, like, I like Pokemon. And so I'm like, oh, hey, the local TCG store, because they have a relationship with the Pokemon company and they sell the stuff, they can actually sell the product a week early before the proper release because it came out on Friday. And I'm like, I want to get a booster box so that I can start getting my collection of Buddy Poffins going. And they're like, why are you buying the cards physically? You said you were done going to tournaments. And I'm like, well, I kind of just want to have them,
Still fun.
I like having them, and I like physically building decks, and I like shuffling the cards, and I like, I like trying to play webcam when I can, because I honestly prefer that to playing TCG Live. One, because TCG Live breaks a lot, and two, like, just having the physical cards, just, I don't know, it's different, man. It feels different. So now I have to go finish buying another 20 Buddy Poffins.
I got into the card thing again, but I'm on the Star Wars Unlimited.
That just came out, right? Did that just started?
Yeah, just won my first tournament last Thursday, so that was...
Oh, man. I'm genuinely worried about getting into any other TCG. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
No, I'm not. Yes.
Like, the one that's piqued my interest, like, that's the only one that's really, like, piqued my interest lately has been the Digimon TCG. We'll talk about that on the pod. Yeah, that one just, like, it seems interesting. Like, the mechanics seem interesting to me. I don't think the scene exists, but it seems interesting.
It started to pick up and then kind of dropped off.
Yeah, I think it, like, around, during COVID, like, card games for some reason just, like, TCGs just, like, took off during COVID. I don't know what happened.
Well, people wanted something to do, and...
They wanted something to do, yeah, and... It is shocking to me that it just didn't have, like, the only thing that's stopping me from playing the Digimon TCG is the lack of an online client. If they had an online client and I could learn to play that game, there would be a good chance I would just start playing it.
Right. Yeah.
But, like, Magic's intimidating because there's so many cards, and I don't want to get wrapped up in that culture.
Same with Yu-Gi-Oh! As well, and it's expensive.
Yu-Gi-Oh! I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! is its own beast of, like, a community, and I don't like that one. I want to touch even less than Magic, right?
Yeah. My fiance is a big not Magic, well, kind of, but big Yu-Gi-Oh player. Mm-hmm. I don't want to understand. Like, he'll explain why a card is good, and I'll sit there, and there's just dial-up tones.
Yeah. No, Yu-Gi-Oh is very complicated. And a lot of the player base realizes that it's very hard to onboard new players.
Yeah.
Especially because they don't do rotation, right? And
no, yeah.
So that really hurts things.
Someone once explained, like, they're like, all right, if Magic is like a game of Civilization or chess or something, Yu-Gi-Oh is a shootout where you build your gun.
Yeah. Yeah, that feels right.
That's a good description.
That feels right. Yeah, there's just so many things. And like, Pokemon I can swallow only because, like, the price point is so low. It's so cheap. I think if you were to look at, like, any of the top deck, like, you could get a meta deck in Pokemon right now for like $50.
Wow.
And that's like building it from scratch, assuming you don't have any cards. And there's a lot of cards that if you've ever played Pokemon in, like, the past decade and you still have your cards, you probably have some trainer staples still.
Nice.
Yeah, and they're making it even better too. Like, ever since they switched from Jushiro, you used to play back in, like, Sun and Moon era, right? Mm-hmm. Sun and Moon XY. So, like, we had Lysander, right?
Yep.
And so now that's just turned into Boss's Orders. There's a card called Boss's Orders. They essentially just keep reprinting it in different sets, and it maintains legality.
And they just changed the art for whatever the boss is.
They'll change which evil team leader it is or something.
I assume they're doing that with the professor as well.
Yeah, Professor's Research has done that a lot as well.
Right.
So we essentially get, Professor Sycamore / Professor Juniper over and over again.
But now it's Pokemon Professor Research.
It's Professor's Research, yeah. Like, the Sword and Shield block did, like, all of this crazy good stuff. So, like, you can just hold onto your cards forever and you'll probably have something that's going to be reasonable to play for, like, the next forever. In terms of staples. And I mean, like, Ultra Ball still exists, and they're letting you do cards, like, with Errata now. Like, Super Rod's in the meta right now, and the original Super Rod came out in, like, the Neo set back in the day. Completely different text. And completely different effect, but they will let you play the Neo Super Rod with the errata text.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good decisions.
Yeah. So, I mean, it just makes the game easier to play if you have the cards. And honestly, like, it makes some of your old cards that were once worthless just worth something again.
Right. If nothing other than nostalgia, then people going like, oh, you're playing that version.
Yeah, exactly. I think, let me look this up, because I think the Neo version of the Super Rod just, like, went up crazy. TCG player, learn how to type all the letters, Thatch. But yeah, Super Rod is one of those cards that, like, you just got because there's a new one. Oh no, it didn't even go up. Well, I guess it's like $1 now if you want the old art. Instead of 35 cents for the card that in the current printing.
Right.
But it gives you some value to some of those old cards, which I think is fun.
No, yeah, overall great decision.
But yeah, good times, great oldies.
I've been replaying the Ultra games. Just found my 3DS and just like, we'll start this.
Yeah.
I forgot how much harder Gen 7 was than pretty much everything since then.
Dude, Gen 7 is actually pretty ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, I was doing all right for the first little bit and had a bit of trouble with Araquanid, but I'm like, oh yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, how bad can it be when it's like, what? It's the grass trial. I guess I had suppressed those memories.
That one specifically is rough. Like, the grass trial is specifically rough.
And in the Ultra series, the electric one became Togedemaru. That's really rough if you have a ground type. I'm sitting there with my party of like, I've got nothing. I can't touch this thing. That
one, Gen 7, and I don't want to say all of Gen 9, but like the DLC of Gen 9 were the two times where I'm like, oh, just playing casually isn't enough right now. Like, I have to do something, instead of like the turn brain off, play Pokemon mode. It's like, oh, I have to actually think, and you get to like bring in a little bit of the competitive skills, like a little bit of the strategy beforehand, and I kind of like that. I hope we get a little bit more of that moving forward. I mean, I would argue they kind of did it in Gen 9 in the base game as well, with like all the gym leaders having a Pokemon that would terrestrialize. I kind of wish it was instead of like them having a Pokemon that was off type terrestrialize into their type. I kind of wish it was the opposite, where it was a Pokemon of their type and it would terrestrialize into something that was super effective against the team's weaknesses.
Right. That would have made more competitive sense.
Yeah, it would just made things a little bit more interesting.
They could have gotten away with both, where like some of them, like Iono turns her Miss Magius into an electric type because it has Levitate, which, okay, that's a cool thing. And then you have, I don't know, Grusha turn an ice type into literally anything else, and suddenly he's dangerous.
No, I know. I agree with this. I think that's like 100% the way we should have gone. I think it would have been a lot of fun.
We'll have to wait till Scarlet and Violet the remake.
Scarlet and Violet the remake. Don't even talk about that, man. Like, we're at the point, like, after Gen 4 remakes, like, I'm just sitting here like, man, I don't really want any more remakes. I
want one more. I actually do want the Unova one.
They're gonna make me feel old. Like, that's all I'm saying. They're just all gonna make me feel old. All right, well, I'm gonna cut us here, and we've got to get to the news. So let's cue that epic music.
Live from the Lavender Town radio tower. This just in.
Welcome to the news. In the news, it's the light news week once again, but it's all right. First of all, Tierno was added to Masters. That's something, I guess. Alongside Dancing Adaman and Irida. It's literally like a dancing thing.
Yeah,
dancing. I need to see dancing.
It's like a dancing theme. It's a dancing thing.
No.
So
this is the beautiful thing. They have no dancing animation.
Yeah, there's no animations, but
they're just talking about dancing.
They just talk about it. Yeah.
And there's no
incredible.
It is incredible, I tell you.
And then also the Pokemon Company DMCA'd Relic Castle, a very big prominent ROM hosting service. Which is weird, but that's okay. Because I was under the impression as long as you weren't like asking for money, you're okay. But I guess not.
Well, that was the former versus like a present.
Yeah.
But they weren't a ROM hosting thing. They were a fan game.
Yeah. That's what I meant by ROM. It's more of like a fan game hosting
thing. It's a little dodgy.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, I don't know. I feel like Pokemon just inspired a lot of people. It's kind of like Mario Maker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In terms of just like the Pokemon fan game scene, I would be super down if like Pokemon released like an actual like Pokemon Maker or something like that. I doubt they would because the scale of that's so large.
Thought about it. Yeah, that would be really an uphill battle. It's hard enough for them to just put Pokemon that exist in one game. Having to put so many more options.
Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine a game where you design a Pokemon game and all of the Pokemon are available for you to put in that game?
There.
But they put an artificial limit on the game you make, and they say you can only put 400 of these in this game.
Don't tempt them. But
I would still do it, and I would make the worst experience where it's just all.
Yes. I make sure to cater all of the Pokemon to be specifically good for this region, and it's all electric types, and there's one ground type gym leader.
Spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, now you're thinking like I'm doing.
Yeah.
All of the Pokemon are unknown, and then the final final boss just uses a Shedinja.
Yes.
That was the developer kit that they sent to the people that made Diamond and Pearl.
You're not
right.
You're not wrong. Diamond and Pearl, for what they were trying to do, like at the time, were fine. Okay, at the time they were fine. We've just gotten better Pokemon games since then. Okay, like it's baby steps. It's like how Gen 1 is kind of unplayable as Gen 1 right now.
Right.
But yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. The next part is yours, Jushiro.
Oh yes, Scarlet and Violet news. Regular event raids appear to have a chance of dropping meta Herba Mystica, as the Brute Balant and Iron Hands raid had them in past weekends. 3% and only one flavor, but it's something. Yeah. And then this is exciting news specifically because this is also related to the topic today. There's a Lico Spiritito giveaway through September. It even has a ribbon that says it when you send it into battle.
That's so cute.
I believe that's the code, or did someone?
That's the code. No, that's the code. It's it's because they don't let you put I or O into the codes because they let you use all the numbers. Right. Literally, just make the proper substitutions to spell Lico with 906. 906 is the national dex number of Sprigatito.
Gotcha.
If you make all the substitutions, though, you'll be able to get it. And then Lynian, you get the rest of this. We're just going to give you the rest of it.
Gosh golly, Beg on Community Day is April 7th.
Wow.
Because we're completely out. It's a rerun.
Yes. Yep.
Nothing has felt that drop more in value, even more so than crypto, than bad shiny Salamence.
I don't even know that.
You can get that
it's
anywhere.
Fine. It could be worse. They could be buying Zarude like a
Pokemon Go has just like fallen so far lately.
Yeah, there are job postings for Niantic and
how the mighty have fallen. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm just sitting here going, do I even mention these? to my fiance and his coworkers because like this place is folding within 6 months.
6 months, I don't know. I feel like they have enough revenue because like what I feel like is happening is like the player base is dropping, but they increase like monetization, and like the decreasing player base still pays for it more and more. And I feel like the revenue's the same.
Not the company, but those positions. They're going to hire and then they're going to do massive firing when their corporate call goes through. So no.
Yeah, I could believe that.
Speaking of things that print money, though, it's the TCG. The day after recording last week's episode, they revealed all of the Ogre Pond cards. They're okay.
I think the water type Ogre Pond is potentially okay. But I think the problem is like they revealed that there's like a fighting type Greninja, and that one actually looks really good. Like that's got a good chance to be really good. It's essentially I'm gonna pull it up real quick only because I think the Greninja EX is kind of exciting. And nobody, I wouldn't say nobody's talking about it because I feel like the internet talked about it a lot, but it's a really cool card in terms of design. It's very close to like the Rapid Strike Urshifu that just rotated out this week or next week. Rotation isn't this Friday, it's the Friday after that. Whatever that is. But it's
really early this year.
Yeah, so last year they set us on the same-ish timer as Japan now.
Oh.
So it used to be in the US in September, and then starting last year, they delayed rotation actually.
Good.
Until this time last year. And so now we're kind of lined up with Japan in the sense that when Japan set calls for the rotation, the US set, when we get that's our rotation.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it's very nice and convenient.
Yeah, it used to be a time
it's because they changed how like card legality works in standard now.
How so?
Well, if you look at any card you buy now, there's a little letter on the bottom in a box, and that's the basis for card legality. They'll go every card with the E to the G are legal. And so all of the E block cards just rotated out. So now it's E to E, it's F, G, and H that are now legal.
Okay.
So that's how they do it now. So if you're ever wondering if you don't play the card game and why those letters are on the bottom, this is why. But yeah, this Greninja is actually really sweet. Because yeah, it's, for one water energy, you can do 170 damage. Yeah, it's kind of nuts. That's kind of nuts in and of itself.
Wow.
But then on top of that, it's got another attack for 1 water and 2 colorless, called Duplicate Strikes, where you discard 2 energy cards from this Pokemon and you do 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. And this is exactly what the Urshifu did, the Urshifu VMAX. And Urshifu VMAX did get neutered because Manaphy came out in Brilliant Stars, which prevented bench damage. Manaphy rotates next year, so unless they come up with like a new bench barrier solution, like this Greninja's gonna run rampant.
Perfectly balanced, I say.
I mean, the card game I actually think is in a pretty decent place, but a lot of people would disagree with me. I am not a hardcore competitive player.
I'm reminded of a comment that Mark Rosewater, the lead designer at Magic, once said, which was, if we put $100 bills in the packs, people would complain about how they're folded.
Yeah, exactly. No. He's not. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I love that. Okay.
So if people are complaining about a game, that's fine as long as they're playing it.
Yes.
When they stop playing it, that's the problem.
When they don't care. And that actually, ladies and gentlemen, that you should take that to life.
Also, the Pokemon TCG is in such a different place than every other TCG because I would argue like most people cracking packs for Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! Nowadays are people who play the game. And I would say maybe even like 90%, if not more, of people who are cracking Pokemon packs are just Pokemon fans looking to do something Pokemon.
Right.
And not even play the game. So I think like it's going to be fine. Like that's the reason why most packs aren't trainers, which are like staple cards and decks.
Right.
All of them are like Pokemon.
and at least here in Seattle, so I said in the beginning that I started playing the Star Wars Unlimited, so I've been going there Thursdays.
Yeah.
Thursday nights, and they're doing Pokemon at the league at the same time. My bro, while my tournament of Star Wars was like one table, the Pokemon, especially kids, was 4 full tables of kids just playing Pokemon trading cards.
Pokemon is like...
yeah, it was like big. I wasn't expecting so many people to be playing it.
Dude, Pokemon's exploded. They're like constantly breaking records on tournament size.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
And it's kids, like most of them. I could see a few, in their 20s, people like the people who listen to this podcast and stuff. But it was
little
mostly
babies in their 20s.
Little babies in their 20s.
But most of them were like
children,
10s and children, right? So yeah, it's moving. At least here in Seattle, I can only speak anecdotally, but yeah, it's moving.
Mm-hmm.
So also there's a thing I have to say, the live decks are Raging Bolt and Iron Crown, and new starter decks are basically all pretty good entry options, except Mewtwo EX. All my homies hate Mewtwo EX.
Mewtwo EX will be good one day, I think, maybe. I don't know. It might be good one day. But yeah, all right. Well, Puckle's Pokey prediction. Here we go. How do you think they'll handle ride Pokemon in PLZA? Will we get something like a 2% Zygarde being rollerblades?
Okay, I was gonna say,
that would be funny. That would be funny. Oh my gosh.
They'll probably just have some Pokemon that you befriend that can move around. But the concept of you just having like a little orb you just type in and then Zygarde constructs itself to solve problems.
That sounds awesome.
I kind of like that.
Maybe it is Zygarde and it changes form, like the dog form to go for speed, or whatever other forms and stuff. Maybe they'll add 1 or 2%. Like
dog
you
form
just
is
said.
your bike, and then you get enough that it becomes arms on your back to climb walls.
Right.
And then you get one that becomes wings.
Right. It might be that, but although it is all in one, like the game itself is in the city, so I don't know how much. Yeah,
but so's
different
Grand
terrain.
Theft Auto, and you still need to you still wouldn't want to walk it.
That is true. That is true.
Like, yeah,
but I mean, like the different terrain.
One city tells me nothing about it.
No. Right, but I meant the terrain, right? So I don't know how much. Although climbing buildings, I guess I don't know. But yeah. No, you're right.
Spider-Man for PlayStation 5.
You can swing in the city would be pretty amazing.
Give me an Ariados mount that lets me just...
Oh! Is Ariados...
That would be pretty...
Did Spinnerack and Ariados make the Kalos decks?
Kalosian forms, it's fine.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, all of the ride Pokemon in PLA were... They were, oh gosh, what's my? I can't finish my brain today.
Hisuian forms,
but yeah, they were Hisuian forms. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys, leakers. I need you to let me know if Hisuian Ariados is a ride Pokemon. I need pictures. I need pictures of Ariados, man.
Could you imagine?
I want some pictures of Ariados. And don't come back without them.
Man, I in all honesty, I'm just kind of hoping PLZA is just like an expanded version of what we were doing in Jubilife City, in the Jubilife Village, where we would just like give people Pokemon to do work. I kind of hope that. I would actually really enjoy that. Like, hey, if you give these people these kinds of Pokemon, it changes what the town looks like. Give me an Animal Crossing-esque vibe to that.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
For customization. Like, my Lumio City looks like this. Yeah,
let me do that. I will build the worst, most eye-bleeding option.
I'm into it, man. I'm here for it.
Future generation will question decisions that were made.
I'm into it. But yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to stop us there. And we're going to go ahead and take it on over to Puckle's Poke Quiz, where we're going to quiz your co-host on their insane Pokemon knowledge.
Oh hi, and welcome to the Poke Quiz, the part of the show where we quiz our co-hosts on their insane Pokemon knowledge. I'm Mark from the Dunsparce gang, here to explain the rules. Our fabulous co-hosts will work as a team to answer 5 Pokemon-themed trivia questions that fans have submitted on the Discord server. Each question is worth 1 point, with Pokedex and multiple answer questions worth more, for a total of 7 points. The host can use a free hint at any time. If they get all the answers correct and do not use the hint, they can cash it in for an 8th point.
Welcome to our Poke Quiz. Thank you for that introduction. Our first question this week for you guys is a general trivia question. And this one comes to you from Egotistical Elekid. In honor of last week's Fame Checker callback, what Fire Red Leaf Green character's Fame Checker actually tells a lie identifying this character's daughter as Shireen? I'm going to say Shireen.
I got lost in that song.
What?
Repeat the question.
So last week we talked about top 5 and bottom 5 gym leaders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Lynian was there. What Fire Red Leaf Green character's Fame Checker entry, one of their entries, actually tells a lie identifying this character's daughter as Shireen?
I'm going to say
Shireen spelled
Koga, because that's the only character I can think in Gen 1 who has a canonical child.
Who? Who did you say?
Lynian said Koga.
Oh,
Koga.
yeah.
That's the only character I can think who has a daughter.
That's my that was my same answer. Yeah,
Are you going to lock that one in?
It's either that like Mr. Fuji, but sure.
Koga is correct. Koga's daughter is named Janine, not Shireen.
I was just going, I was like, is there anyone else who has a kid?
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe Shireen is Janine's sister, and Pokemon just never showed her to us. We don't know.
I genuinely can't think of anyone else in that who has a parental relationship. I think children just grow out of the earth in Kanto or something.
It's fine.
The true plant kids, the true plant type.
All right, our next one is gonna come to you from, I'm gonna say, Togenik. Togenik asks, in the Pokemon World Tournament in Black and White 2, who is the only gym leader whose signature Pokemon is still unevolved? The World Tournament in Black, White, and Black 2 is the thing, of course, where you could battle all of the gym leaders in the past post-game.
What is this? Question one more time? Are these questions?
They're getting harder, okay? I'm sorry.
Could you repeat the question one more time?
4 generations of people it could be.
In the Pokemon World Tournament in Black 2 and White 2, who's the only gym leader whose signature Pokemon is still unevolved?
Okay.
So it's no one in Gen 4. No one in Gen 3. I'm just thinking of people who have unevolved aces.
Right.
So I think it's like Brock makes sense, because it's now a steel type.
Onyx.
Misty's ace is Staryu. I think everyone else has a fully evolved ace in Gen 1.
Are we counting Blue or Red as gym leaders?
Well, Red would not be.
Red was never a gym leader.
Right.
Gen 2?
I'm trying to remember if there's
Bugsy.
any... Boxy had what?
Scyther was Bugsy's ace, wasn't it? And then it wouldn't... Well, no, because they could just make that a Caesar. I was like, oh, flying. Like, no.
Because I was thinking it has to be something maybe that uses... the item. I forgot the name. Aviolite?
Aviolite.
Correctly. That's a strategy.
Maybe...
I'm thinking...
You know what? Maybe it is Onyx. The more I think about it, I'm like, they're not going to have a nose pass, you know?
Yeah, no one uses Chansey from the gym leaders that we remember.
No, there aren't any Gen 1 or 2.
Okay. Then yeah, I mean, if you're confident, because I'm really
not,
have no
but
idea.
I don't want to sit here and think about gym
for 2
leaders.
hours. Yeah. No, I agree. Onyx, then that's also,
Onyx is your choice.
Onyx with Brock.
Onyx with Brock is correct. Because it's the only one that changes type. One of the balls turns to not his type.
I really thought we were shooting it dark there.
Okay, good.
That is. You guys were along the right thought
Path.
the entire time. So you guys did well there. All right, so that is 2 for 2. Your next question is your Pokedex entry, as always. This one is going to come to you from Trash Panda 103. Its Pokemon Sword entry reads: Artillery platforms built into the walls of ancient castles served as perches from which this Pokemon could fire energy beams. Who's that Pokemon?
Wait, what generation was this?
This was Pokemon Sword.
Then it sounds like, if it's shooting beams, it sounds like the Dragon Building.
So it's shooting...
Artillery platforms built into the walls of ancient castles served as perches from which this Pokemon could fire energy beams.
Yeah, the Steel Dragon,
This
I forgot its
is
name.
incredible, and I want to know what this Pokemon is. I just don't.
Right.
Duraludon?
What was the, yeah, Duraludon, thank you. Forgot the name completely. Duraludon is what I'm thinking.
Because that is like a gun.
It looks like a cannon, so if it's built into artillery, it means that windows, aka windows, that they can put artillery, Duraludon to shoot beams. That's what makes sense to me.
It's either that or like Octillery.
But artillery doesn't shoot beams, it shoots water.
It shoots beams.
It does?
Wait, can you read it for me one more time?
Artillery platforms built into the walls of ancient castles served as perches from which this Pokemon could fire energy beams.
Ancient is what's throwing me.
Oh, Duraludon is a newer Pokemon?
Well, I mean, yeah.
In terms
but
of
also
timeline,
it's just like, it looks like a robot. What about Claydol? It's
But
got a lot of
Claydol
beam
doesn't-
cannons.
It does?
Yeah,
Okay.
the little clay orb things on its hands. Those are cannons. The fact
Could
that
be.
it's ancient makes me think Claydol.
I'm gonna need an answer here.
You know what? If it's going to be Duraludon, it's going to be super obvious with the next one. So I say we just...
What are you
I
putting
say
in?
Claydol.
Claydol is unfortunately incorrect. This next entry is from Pokemon Y, and it reads, "It flies across the sky at Mach speeds. Removing the seal on its chest makes its internal energy go out of control."
Okay, so it's Golurk.
It makes sense because he does turn into like a cannon.
Is
Does
that your-
it, though?
Is that your answer?
I mean, yes, it's Golurk.
Golurk is correct. There is actually, I don't know if it was ever shown in, honestly, any media, but I know there's art of it that exists, where official, like, Pokemon art, where it does go into a cannon mode.
Yeah, it has a cannon mode. I've seen it.
Yeah, it has a cannon mode. I believe it's actually in the Pokemon anime, not the new one, but Pokemon Journeys, where Go catches the Golurk. Yeah, it does go into cannon mode.
Okay, I'm seeing it. It did show up because it was in the movie.
Yeah. Golurk has like several modes. There's like flying
Like,
mode.
I knew it had the rocket.
There's cannon
I didn't
mode.
realize it was a cannon.
Yeah.
You were in the right track though, because Claydol.
It has a lot of different modes. Golurk is a confusing Pokemon. Thank you.
In many ways than just
James
that.
Turner.
Yeah.
Thank you, James Turner. All right. Well, you guys are 3 for 3. We do have our multiple answer question, as always. And we're gonna see. I'm gonna give you guys a choice. Do you want a question about abilities or a question about magazines?
Abilities, I guess. Magazines.
What were magazines?
Right.
Abilities or magazines?
Abilities.
Yeah.
I think you might have chosen the harder of the two questions. There are 5 answers for this. I will give you a point for each 2 answers you give me, and if you give me all 5, you get 3 points. This is from Elite Four Brant. What 5 fully evolved Pokemon can have the ability Rattled?
What 5
Fully evolved Pokemon can have the ability Rattled.
Which one was Rattle?
That's the one where if you get hit by a ghost, bug, or dark type move, your speed goes up.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what Pokemon, because a lot of Pokemon like lose it over time.
Right. Gain courage with adulthood, something that is definitely not true.
Weirdly, I'm pretty sure one of them is Wugtrio.
Okay. Are you going to lock that in?
Yeah.
Wugtrio is correct, yes. That is one.
Okay. Another one I know to be correct is Granbull.
Granbull is also correct. That is 2. That gives you 1 point. There are 3 more.
Persian. Alolan Persian.
Alolan Persian
Do that
is
with
number
weakness
3.
policy.
Alolan Persian is number 3.
That was fun. You'd use a Smeargle or something. Very funny. It wasn't good, but it was silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I legitimately don't even know of other Pokemon that have
Two more.
I'm not even that useful in this question. What else can get rattled already in its feet?
Like, I know a couple Pokemon that have it are like Ladybug, Whismur, Bonsly.
Oh, do you think... Well, Ladybug has it, but it loses it when it evolves.
Because it becomes Iron Fist, yeah. Because I know that because Ledian is the weakest Pokemon to have Iron Fist.
It's got like 30 base attack. It's stupid.
I think it might actually be lower.
I'm trying to think right now.
Well, I can think because the other one becomes, I think, Sheer Forest with Loudred. How many strikes do we have?
You have 3 until you're out. You haven't gotten any of wrong yet, so...
Yeah, it's Sudowoodo then, because like I can remember Bonsai.
Sudowoodo is correct, yeah. Sudowoodo is number 4. You guys are at 2. There's only one more Pokemon left for the full sweep.
Go Lynian.
I don't know of one.
There's only one more left. All of these are obtainable in Scarlet and Violet, which is actually impressive to me.
Okay, what other Pokemon got rattled? Because there's like no psychic type that has it, which is very funny to me.
Yes.
Pokemon that startle easily. White Stripe Basculin has it, I think.
Yeah, it does. I can confirm to you. Well, no, it's not fully evolved. That's not fully evolved.
So, Basculegion? I don't know what its ability is.
So, Basculegion, do you want to lock that in?
Sure.
I'm going to give you a strike on that one. So, it did actually have it in, like, the code in Gen 8.
Oh, yeah.
But then they switched it to, like, Swift Swim or Adaptability. Yeah, there's one more. I will need answers soon, or you could take a hint.
What about Mighty Anna? Because no Poochyena gets it.
Mighty Anna, unfortunately, is incorrect. That's 2 strikes.
As a hidden.
No, Wishy-Washy
ability?
only has schooling. Otherwise, it would be the worst Pokemon ever.
No, but there is Wishy-Washis that don't have schooling, though.
No, there aren't. It's just that schooling doesn't kick in until level 20.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm replaying Ultra Sun. I remember this.
Wishy-Washy.
Okay,
what a Pokemon.
Well, I mean, because it's not a really jank and slow Pokemon like Dunsparce.
There's things in none of the rats have
No,
it.
it can't be the Dunsparce.
Are you gonna lock into Dunsparce?
I don't think it changes any abilities. So
are you gonna lock that in?
Dunsparce?
The Dunsparce is the last one. Yeah, that's correct.
Wow! I'm impressed.
Dunsparce. All right. Well, you guys got all of them. That's 3. So you're
you
6
guys,
for
there's
4.
a lot of people. Lynian got them all.
Your next question is gonna be, this one's probably good for Lynian specifically. From Gigasaurus Games, this is your base stat question as always. Which Ultra Beast has a stat that is not a prime number?
What?
All of the base stats of the Ultra Beast are actually prime numbers.
No, I knew that.
With the exception of one of them.
All of them.
One of the Ultra Beasts, they kind of screwed up, and they did not give that Pokemon a prime number in its base stats.
All right, so here's the thing: it's got to be one of the ones in Ultra, because if it isn't, people would have commented on that.
Right.
No, Poipoles are all super rounded, super low.
So it's odd. It has an odd number. You said.
Prime.
No,
non-prime.
It has a non-prime number. A non-prime number.
And it wouldn't be like Necrozma, because then there would be 2, unless it was Ultra Necrozma, which I don't know if that even counts as a.
I think that counts like a different form, no?
Well, no, I don't know if it counts technically as an Ultra Beast.
I think it technically does. I go based solely on the trading cards and the fact that they classified it as such, but
I don't.
There's
probably
one.
like Naganadel.
I'm gonna need an answer.
Yeah, I'll go with Naganadel.
Naganadel is correct. Its speed is base 121, which is divisible by 11. So it's actually 11 squared, so it's actually 2 prime numbers multiplied together. But it is the only Ultra Beast without fully prime numbers in their base stats. I
remember, I think Poipole, all of its stats are the same.
Let's double check this, but
so I didn't think it was that. So it had to be one of the later ads, because people would have been blowing that up in Gen 7 first time out.
Poipol's numbers are mostly the same. It's 367s and 373s.
Okay.
So it is very close. But yeah, Naganadel is the only one without anything. Or without fully prime numbers. Which is weird that they like did that, but I think it's because they were like adding 67 to things, and it's just whatever. It's fine.
I imagine what they did is they had to choose between the prime number gimmick of the stats people aren't seeing, or having Naganadel be even faster. And they went, you know what? No.
Yes, you are most likely correct. Yeah. All right. So that gives you a full sweep today. So we're gonna go ahead and add that into the trivia score here, and we'll go from there. Once I can do it. All right. So that's +8. I gotta do that math in my head, and another +8. That does change up the standings pretty significantly. You guys are all just doing like a really good job spreading yourselves out in terms of show participation, so it makes it really hard for you guys to take leads.
Competitive.
It keeps it competitive, I will tell you that. All right, in first place we have Lynian with 23.
Woo.
In second place we have Jushiro with 21.
Woo!
In third place, Sigma with 19. Fourth place, Seth Viola with 16. Fifth place, Whimsicott with 15. A three-way tie for sixth between Shark Sublime and Cloud9 with 14. And Dr. Shamu bringing up the rear with 9. But yeah, that is going to be it for this week, guys. We're going to kick it on over then to our topic. If you want more Poke Quiz, you can tune in next week. But until then, topic time. We're here with another iTunes review. This one from Little Doggo 5. Great podcast for everything Pokemon related. I found this podcast in early 2023 when I first discovered Pokemon and was instantly hooked. I had tried many other pods, but none of them quite hit like this one. I love all the top 5 episodes, and the quiz segment is an amazing twist on Pokemon trivia. Overall, one of the greats as far as podcasts go. Well, thank you for that, Little Doggo. And if you too would like to leave us a review anywhere you listen to the show, we'd appreciate it. But until then, guys, we're going to kick it on over to the topic. We'll catch you on the flip-flop. Welcome to our topic. Our topic today is Pokemon Horizons. What do we think? How'd that go? And Pokemon Horizons, for those of you who are unaware, is the new Pokemon anime. It's out on Netflix in the United States now. It's been out everywhere else but the United States before this, but we finally got the chance to watch the dub over the sub. Yeah, it's an experience. I don't know. Like,
I got lots of things to say about it, but I want you guys to go first.
Yeah, my honest opinion is, like, my TLDR is, it's weird. I see what they're trying to do. I just wish they didn't try to One Piece it and, like, make it take forever. I legitimately think I watched like 3 hours of setup. Yeah, right?
It is a brand new series, right? With brand new characters.
I kind of got like the Saturday morning cartoon feel. I do, like, there's some minor things that I guess we could talk about later, but I really appreciate that it is, it's definitely serialized more so than the Pokemon anime was in the past, especially near the end with Journeys, where they were just kind of like doing whatever they wanted for episodes.
It very much felt like, yeah, we want to do this thing with Ash, so...
That's what Journeys was at the end. This one, it started off like that, it felt like a little bit, but it makes more sense now that you have to watch all 12 episodes, or it doesn't make sense, which is kind of unfortunate.
I mean, to say all 12, but those currently are the available in dub, right? Because I think the Japanese goes...
Oh, Japan is, like, way ahead of us. They're at least 30-some episodes ahead of us, if not more.
So I really enjoyed it. A lot more than I expected. I had not seen it before I learned that that's the topic of this episode, so I watched it to prepare myself. I was expecting to see just another Pokemon series, aka fine, good background noise. Did not expect me to be enthralled by the characters and the world. Yes, it is a little bit like One Piece, but hey, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
I agree with you. I think it's not a bad thing that it's that they took the time to develop the characters. I wish the premise was a little bit more obvious from the get-go, because I did find
it is not, but that mystery though I enjoyed.
Okay.
Ash's journey really always felt kind of like a crapshoot. Like, let's see where the wind takes us, right? There was, other than getting gym badges and getting to the championship, which is the story of all Pokemon ever.
Mm-hmm.
There weren't really that many mysteries other than mystery of the episode. There's really, everything was mostly all self-contained. I know that we said that the setup for this is a bit long, but Ash's whole character development doesn't happen until the maybe 4th season.
Yeah, it is like a 5 season arc to see any change in Ash, right?
Right. And I'm not even talking about the meme of it's his age. I'm just in general, the character Ash, right? Doesn't change much. Which is that's very old shonen, Goku, in Dragon Ball, these one-dimensional, they have one characteristic, and it's this. While I felt that these Horizon characters, not only that we have adults now, which I never really even thought about, I was really lacking, or, we were really lacking about adult to adult interactions in the Pokemon world. It's always kid with adult or kid with kid. But to have protagonists that are actually adults in the Pokemon world, that have actual jobs, that actually have things, they have goals and missions, is something that is completely different from what at least how I felt from the rest of the whole series, where adults were just there as another guide to whatever the protagonists are doing. These adult characters are part of the story, and their protagonists and their interactions are very different with other adults than it is with the kids. I really did feel a difference between when the kids are involved. The show becomes much more, kid friendly, much more, directed to their growth, what their feelings, what's going on. While when the adults are involved, that's where the action takes place. There's a lot more intrigue to know these people, right? It's not just the kids that are just exploring what they want. These adults already know what they want. These adults are already developed. They have a mission. And that dynamic is something I really didn't even think that it was missing in Pokemon. And Horizons really brought that in for me, and it really got me involved. I felt, you said One Piece, I also felt kind of like Firefly, the series.
To be fair, it definitely get the vibes that this is still set in the exact same Pokemon world that Ash was in, which makes it does make things a little bit more jarring if you believe that, and that's the way it is, which is for myself, and that might just be a personal thing, because we get the exact same Nurse Joy type deal, right? And actually that's kind of part of Molly's character arc too,
right? Which I loved.
I thought it was really, I came in and I just kind of assumed what they were going to do is put Liko on basically the same course that they did Ash, which is you make one eternal character, and this was just going to be the new version of the same thing. And I was immediately struck by 2 things. The first is that they were definitely, it's much more serialized. And it felt like there was a defined end, and thinking that with everything we've seen, it looks like Gen 10 probably won't be till 2026 at the earliest.
I hope you're correct. There's a chance.
Maybe 2025 at the end, but not at least they've got some time.
Yeah, even then, I kind of hope this just goes for a while, right?
Yeah, I think what they're doing is copying the JoJo's formula, or Yu-Gi-Oh! Is probably the more relevant comparison for them, of just, for each arc, each block of games and cards in that, we're going to have a protagonist. And I think that's what I really got out of it. The other thing was it felt like a reboot in the sense that they had to explain things that by the end, Ash's Pokemon anime just didn't. Pokemon need to be captured, and Nidothing is there to explain basic mechanics in a way that it just assumes the viewer is not familiar with it.
Mm-hmm. I'm also really okay with the way they do it with Nidothing, by the way.
Right. It's for the kids, right.
Yeah, it works.
As a longtime series fan, because there were those things, especially at the beginning of Pokemon Journeys when Go's introduced, they're trying to introduce everybody to the same concepts again, right? And it's very heavy-handed and very over the top.
But it's fine if it's heavy-handed and over the top, it turns out, if it's a YouTuber.
Have you seen YouTubers?
When Nidothing does it, one, it's very short and quick when they do it. And 2, it's just very silly to see Nidothing and the expression. And it's even better when you learn that, I guess minor spoilers, that...
Spoiler alert?
Yes, well, yeah, it's gonna have to go.
that Dot is Nito thing, but it's so obvious that like halfway through the episodes because like the Quaxley's just there. Like there's no chance there's two Quaxley.
Yeah, it's not hidden to the point where when Liko doesn't put it together, that was one of the best gags.
Oh my gosh, you cosplay. You don't even you're not Nito thing. You just cosplay.
Right, you're the biggest fan. It's like, no, you idiot. She's Nidoking. By the way, for those who don't know, Nidothing, who haven't seen the series, Nidothing is a YouTuber.
Yes.
Comes randomly throughout the show, and the children characters are fans of.
Oh, it's not the children characters, or it's not just the children characters. There's a bit where Nidothing is going over like audience-suggested questions. And one of them is very clearly one of the henchmen for the evil team.
I didn't catch that. That's hilarious.
No, that was funny because, yeah, there was that episode where Fuecoco beats a Rhydon by using Ember, and it keeps using Rock Blast, and the first question is, my Rhydon, I thought Rock Blast was the coolest move, but I just got beat by Ember. What should I do? And I thought that I heard that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's one of the evil team people. It's not like one of the main evil team people, it's like the henchmen, but... which makes it even funnier, right? Because it brings back like the Grunt A and Grunt B type thing.
I think I really like the evil team is vaguely defined, which is fine, but they're very clearly trying to lean. This is very One Piece, and it's like, yeah, this is just the bad guys. They're the explorers, and they. Yeah,
I don't like the names because it feels very anime. I do think it feels very anime.
I don't mind it one way or another.
I mean, it is what it is, right? It's an anime. But I do get what you mean. I have to say about the jokes is that they're good. I found myself laughing out loud to some of the jokes. I can't really think of one right now, but overall, the humor in the show is very good and relatable. The characters are super relatable. What I like about the kids, and I keep mentioning kids and adults because I at least when I was watching, I did sense that whoever they focused on, it feels different. The show turns into like a little bit different in terms of what matters to that character. So for the kids, I find them much more deep than the kids we've had, Ash and crew we've had in the past. I love how Liko has an anxiety issue, and that's her real challenge. She's an anxious person, so she needs to break through that in order to, become herself, who she wants to be, which, like every other protagonist in an anime, doesn't really know what to do in the beginning of the show. The boy, which I forgot his name completely right now, the Fuecoco, Roy, I love that he on the other...
He's like the easiest name. He's like the easiest name of all of them, Jushiro.
I know. I do love that his thing is that he's too outspoken. He's too like, I'm acting first, think second. He really has no off switch, which with Liko makes a good combination for them. So far to the point where I don't get to see Dot a lot. She does appear. She's the third and the Quagsire owner. Quagsire? No, Quaxley, sorry.
Quaxley,
yeah.
Owner. She's spoilers, she's Nidothing. It's not a big spoiler. I mean, you should get the clues real quick, yeah. But the rest of the crew, Freed, other than his name, which I hate, I love his character. I love that he's supposed to be like this professor who's no longer a professor and doesn't want to even talk about it, which adds to me kind of like the whole, that's why I bring it back to Firefly, because it feels like Mal, and he was a war veteran, and he has a past, but he doesn't want to talk about it right now. He just wants to fly the ship, the next mission, the next place. That's what he's in top. And that dynamic with Freed makes him interesting, other than he has an awesome Charizard and an awesome Pikachu, by the way. Captain Pikachu, sorry, old Pikachu.
Captain Pikachu, when he was introduced, is like, and then he stanced up on his tail.
Yes.
Right.
And he stays that way for like a minute. It was I don't know why, I had to pause it. It was just the funniest thing I'd seen for no good reason. Like, it was just absurd.
Captain Pikachu, awesome. I love him. He's like Pikachu, but if he were the final boss. So, It's just overall, I will keep talking, so shut me up, because I really did actually enjoy it a lot.
I think Captain Pikachu, like, I was a little worried and apprehensive. Like, I'm not like, oh man, Pokemon has to have a Pikachu type deal, but I was wondering if the show was gonna feel weird without, you know, a Pikachu front and center per se, because I wouldn't say Captain Pikachu was done front and center. Like, it's not in your face like, oh man, Captain Pikachu.
He's a lot of the promotional stuff, right? When you see the posters and all that, he's there, but you're right. But he's not, right?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be much more heavy-handed, but I feel like it was done tastefully, and it's still done well to the point where it's just like, oh yeah, this Pikachu's important, and I don't know, it kind of, I feel like they're playing Freed off as Freed and Captain Pikachu. This is something that the series hasn't had, because a lot of us grew up with Ash, and we're just like, yeah, Ash is who we relate with. But I do like, and you were talking about the adult versus kid thing. I like that there appears to be like a focus or like an insert for people like us. You know what I mean? Like we're the veteran trainers, and so like Freed, well, like because we've been doing it for 25 years, right?
Yes,
but like Freed is, you know, us, and Liko is the next generation. I actually really enjoy having characters that it's not just like, oh man, I'm Ash, I've been on this journey we've all related with. And having characters like Freed and Captain Pikachu are just like, yeah, we know what we're doing, and we're more than willing to help you figure out what you're doing too.
And the dynamic that these are characters, like in Pokemon, they're just like Pokemon, yet the characters have types. Oh, this is the professor. This is a nurse. This is like, and those are basically the attribute that character has, and their whole personality goes around that. These are characters that, no, this used to be a professor. He's no longer a professor. This used to be a Nurse Joy. She's no longer a Nurse Joy. These are people adults that have experiences in life and are multifaceted in who they are and what they do. And that's what, like you said, for an adult that's been with Pokemon 20 something years, so 30 years now, it brought me into those adult characters. It's like, yeah, I want this. Even though it's not edgy, even though it's not mature, the fact that just adults are there doing adult stuff, like just working as a mechanic or, you know, doing this and talking to other adults, it kind of makes it feel more interesting in my opinion.
I thought it was well done, but way too slow.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I would argue that with a lot of media that is really popular, especially at the start.
That first season of One Piece is great in hindsight, but I'm sure that people are trying to figure out when he's going to get his boat, right? It isn't until
I do agree. Like my one big pet peeve was, so Roy has the ancient Pokeball and it releases that Rayquaza about, you know, episode 6, right? And we're just like, oh, there's a new mystery. Oh boy. And then we very quickly run into like the giant Arboliva that is the second Pokemon, and then we're just like, oh man, we're already a third of the way through the 6 Pokemon we're gonna go chase, and we only just discovered why we're doing it.
Nope, his Rayquaza wasn't one of the 6.
It looked like it was in the book when I was looking over it.
They were all. I thought it was that they were all. No, he was trying to find Rayquaza, and he had 6 helpers.
No. Rayquaza was one of them. They were trying to find the new region. Yeah, Lucius was this trainer. It almost feels like an analog to Heath to some extent. That's what it seems like, at least. It almost some kind of analog to Heath, but we don't know too much about it. But yeah, I believe it was 6, including it was including the Rayquaza, but I could be incorrect.
I mean, they still haven't finished that all in.
They haven't even finished it in Japan, so we don't actually know the answer.
So we got a minute.
And I feel like the whole legendary Pokemon and Pokeballs thing is kind of like Roy's mission. Maybe a part of Liko's, because it's a combination of her pendant as well. I'm not entirely sure that's the main thing of the whole show, or is it?
It's the plot right now, so...
It's certainly the plot right now.
There are a couple of things, though, that it felt like it was just kind of getting arbitrarily dragged out. Like, Dot has this whole thing where she's like, the only thing I'm interested in is, like, unknown artifacts, basically. Very normal thing for a 10-year-old to be obsessed with.
Honestly, it is a normal thing for a 10-year-old to be obsessed with.
True. What I do find,
But also, they're like, hey, we clearly know you're a fan of this YouTuber. Do you want to talk about that? And she goes, No, I'm Indiana Jones.
Okay, but like when I was a kid, I remember all the times like we used to just go out and like just try to find arrowheads or something like that. You know what I mean?
Okay, sure, but you didn't do that at the expense of people who wanted to talk to you about Pokemon.
No, that is true.
Yeah, she I think that's their try of.
But there's more of a point. I swear.
Right, I think they're trying to do a neurodivergent person.
No, because the immediate next shot is Liko and Roy are holding up these rare artifacts.
Yes, I know.
And then they don't do the obvious thing. They don't advance the plot. They just move on.
Right, they don't even tell her, but even more to make it more of a plot kind of weird thing. Dot is they describe Dot as, yeah, she's locked into her room, but she knows everything, right? She has eyes everywhere, yet she doesn't know about the artifacts that the kids have and are the reason why they're in the boat. Like, they're in the boat because of those artifacts.
And they actively stop her from learning about this.
How will you not know this, Dot? Like, aren't you supposed to be like Oracle from Batman? You know, you're the girl in the chair and you have all this info, yet you don't know that the kids that are trying to talk to you have legendary Pokemon and artifacts? It's kind of weird.
Well, she did know that, like, Roy had something because she knew about the Rayquaza, right?
No, she didn't know where it came from. Because the whole thing is he shows the ball, and the implication is that this is what she wants. It's infuriating.
And let me tell you, Dot definitely is the character I have the most issues with. Also, the fact that 3 episodes or 4 episodes go by with these kids on the boat, and the boat is under attack, and the boat is invaded, and the boat at one point almost crashes, I think. It's a lot of things that happen on that boat. And on the 4th episode, they say, oh yeah, we have another kid. She's in her room. And you're like, where has this kid?
I thought that was really funny. But also, even in episode 2, when they're first on there, Freed looks at someone and goes, make sure both kids are okay. Like, it's not a spoil. It's.
I wonder if they were like trying to. It could have been hidden if they were just like, oh, make sure both kids are okay, and maybe you think they're referring to Sprigatito and Liko.
Yeah,
maybe, yeah.
But so now Free doesn't see Pokemon as people, huh?
Or he doesn't, or maybe Sprigatito's like 35.
We don't. That's true. We don't know.
He surely acts like it.
I do enjoy how Sprigatito is a very realistic cat. Like, it's not a mean, untamable. Like, it's not Charizard or Charmeleon or anything. It's just like, don't touch me. Why are you? No.
Yeah, it's a cat. It's like you know.
Okay, wait. There was that episode where Liko goes back to her house. I cannot figure this out. I also wasn't paying a lot of attention. I'll be honest with you. When she goes back to her house and Sprigatito just gets like oddly upset, but not upset, but weird, and wants to stay with her dad.
The cat gets annoyed that she plays with the dog.
And then she just stays there, but then then Fido just like is like, hey, here's this bed, and they become besties. It's a very weird interaction that I didn't quite understand.
Oh my god. Go.
Also, apparently, Sprigatito's leafage is like a nuke.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh my god, yes. I didn't know leafage could do so much.
Because she uses it and it just like literally, it takes out the force field and everyone in it. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's like Pikachu's Thunderbolt, which is like shouldn't be as powerful as they're depicting it.
No, I think what they're trying to do is like Sprigatito is literally just like one Superman World of Cardboard speech away from wiping the floor with all known life.
It's like Storm. It's an Omega level Pokemon that could bring the end of the world.
Like, no, I think that's actually what they're doing. Because like it keeps like trying not to hurt people, and I'm like, is your whole thing that you're too strong and you're hurt by this, or do we have a Mary Jane getting snapped by the web, Sprigatito?
I find it really funny because like the power level varies a lot too.
Yes.
It does vary a lot. It's not like, oh man, now that we've reached this level, we're always this strong, which I kind of think is semi-realistic, right? Like the Sprigatito like tried really, really hard and like did some amazing stuff this one time, but now it's having a really rough time fighting this Fuecoco. Knows how to use tackle. I also take personal offense at the fact that Fuecoco, the Pokemon's character arc, is that it wants to be more like Charizard. I take offense at that.
No, that's its start. I think the end will be it learns that it doesn't need to be like Charizard, and the real friends was the real treasure it made along the way.
It's the bird that's gonna be born in his head.
I just feel like we're gonna find that out, but in like 3 years. Like that's what I really feel like is gonna happen.
If they ever evolve.
No, so something I find frustrating, not with just like these 12 episodes, but what I've seen like coming out of Japan is how few Pokemon they catch as trainers in general. Like we have seen no trainer with more than like 3 Pokemon in this anime.
However, I do have to say, even though you're right, there's not enough, like, those Pokemon don't belong to them. There is a lot more Pokemon, I notice, at least, present in every episode.
No, there's a ton of Pokemon, like, on the boat, there's a ton.
Right, and the boat, and whenever they stop in a city, Pokemon are way more up and front versus early Pokemon Ash, where it's like, there's this one Pokemon, and that one Pokemon is the featured Pokemon of the whole episode. Right.
Well, no, it's definitely, instead of being like a full-on commercial for the Pokemon franchise, it feels like this is more of a I don't know, celebration. It's a story in the Pokemon world, right? It's a story in the Pokemon world.
Yeah, it feels like a Pokemon Legends game almost. It's like, yeah, this is like a vaguely familiar thing we might as well do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm into it. It's definitely different than what we used to have, and that's definitely okay.
I really enjoyed it, and my final verdict is it's awesome. I wasn't expecting it to like it that much, and I'm gonna continue watching it, honestly.
I enjoyed it more than I expected to. I think this is probably what should have happened, is they should have retired Ash after Gen 1, and then just done kept it to be smaller.
Well, even I would say after Gen 2, just because his arc kind of wraps up in Gen 2, in all honesty. And that's when they do like the hard reset on him, is after Gen 2. Like, they're just like, go to Hoenn and ditch all your Pokemon, Ash. Have a good time.
Right. One last thing that I do want to take notice is I love the dynamic that these kids do have school, and since they're in their boat, they're do online classes. And I love the interaction with other kids in the online classes, because you can tell that they're from different regions.
Mm-hmm.
So they're making an effort of like, this kid's from Kanto, this kid's from Paldea, this kid's from... And I like that a lot.
It is very much... I don't want to say celebration, but it's definitely like you're in the Pokemon world and you're living it. I very much enjoy that. I really wish it didn't take me 12 episodes to understand what the overall premise of the show is going to be.
Right, yeah.
Because I was very confused for a lot of episodes. Like when Liko gets picked up by the... we didn't translate anything, guys. They just went verbatim. The Rising Volt Tacklers. She gets picked up by them at school. No, she doesn't like really question how she's being kidnapped. They just claim, yeah, your mom paid us to kidnap you, I guess.
Right.
But mom just sent me to school, so I'm very confused.
Right.
What's going on? The intro premise is very confusing to me.
It does not make sense. I was gonna say a thing, and it's just out of brain. I want to mention the villains real fast. The Explorers are...
Are we talking about... the Explorers... I hate that they're called the Explorers, and then we've got like the Rising Volt Tacklers, because those sound very similar to me.
I feel like the names should be inverted.
Sure. They've got they don't have a lot of business except being evil so far. The grunts are kind of funny, but they're not very memorable.
Right. And the leader, the tiny leader, as in the main bad guy that is featured, because we know they're like part of a bigger organization, kind of like every other anime.
And it looks like the next one is going to have an arc villain, and he's played by Matthew Mercer.
Matt Mercer voices him, which is crazy.
It caused the psychic damage of hearing Matt Mercer go, "You couldn't beat me in a Pokemon battle," and I just wanted to go and apologize to him. Like, I'm sorry that you're in a spot where you had to... Is Critical Role not doing okay? Did you need this?
I am confused.
Like, you liked doing Ganondorf. Was this a passion project? Because it doesn't sound like it.
If you get a call from Pokemon and they tell you we want you to do a character voice for one of Pokemon anime, I would jump that ship immediately.
Yeah, but he didn't. The thing is, he didn't sound like he was like, oh yeah, this is a thing that it's the kind of thing of like, you know, when a voice actor like has, you know, they know what Pokemon is, but it's not a word that they've said enough to break it being weird to them. You know?
He's done like a lot of Nintendo stuff though. Wouldn't be surprised if one he did it because of his relationship with Nintendo. But also,
yeah, especially because he did Ganondorf.
But like even then, I don't know. I you look at like how the fandom treated somebody like Veronica Taylor and Eric. Oh my god, what's his last name? But you look at like how the fandom's treated these people, and like they're just treated with like such reverence. I don't know. If I had the chance to be a part of that fandom or be somebody that fandom cared about, I would kind of jump on it too.
Ooh, in Lynian's.
I mean, Matt Mercer definitely already has that kind of fandom for himself, but like now he can get more. He'll just be universally loved by everyone.
I mean, he's not far from that already. To continue Lynian's thing about the villains, I have one prediction. I think that main boy who is the leader of the two grunts, I forgot his name.
Amateo.
Oh, yes, no wonder.
Yeah, a lot of these names are not easy.
Mike. My prediction is that boy's gonna be like the Fire Nation guy from Avatar, who's gonna be like the bad guy at Asuka. He's gonna be the bad guy at the beginning, and then he's gonna realize that wait, are we the baddies? And he's gonna go to the light side and join the crew. That's my prediction. He's boring though, so I don't care.
I do wish their motivations were like made clear, because they're like, I can think of at least one episode where it wasn't filler per se, but it definitely didn't add much. It was the one like where like they were about to move. It was right after they released the Rayquaza, and like there's just like 15 minutes of like Roy being like, I think I'm gonna go with the Rising Volt Tacklers probably. And it's just like 15 minutes of that, and I'm just like, well, obviously this is happening. I don't know why we need 15 minutes to build this up. We could be doing something else with this time. Like, I would love any kind of like motivation from Amateo as to why he specifically like really wants to do these things and go after them.
Well, I got a motivation from him. I don't know exactly what's the reason why they're behind these artifacts, so I don't know. But I think his motivation right now, much like Asuko's in Avatar, is that he failed. He looked like the fool. And now he's angry because it's like, I was made a fool. I failed in this mission of getting these artifacts. These kids couldn't do it. Now the boss is like, you're out. Hey, you, Mercer, get in, and do it. And now he's pissed. He's like, now it's personal, right? So I get his motivation from that aspect. Like he wants this because now he feels like it's a personal thing because he's made to be a fool.
He feels like he's going to be I don't know if he's going to join the good side so much as I think he's going to be a very useful villain versus villain at later points.
I do agree with that. Like,
but I don't know why they're behind, where are these artifacts and how they know about them and who's after them. All of that has not been revealed. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very confusing. I guess they're trying to do mystery, but I feel like, I don't know. It sometimes feels like cheap mystery. You know what I mean? Where it's just like,
yeah, this is mystery because you're not telling us things, not because we want to know.
Yeah, it makes the story more confusing, not knowing why this is happening or anything. Like, even just like a little bit of motivation, like Amatheo's like, I really want to do this for, like, if I had a very clear motivation out of him, like, I want to do this because I want the glory, even if it was just something like that, because I don't even get that from Amateo. I just want motivation, like any motivation.
At the beginning he's just following orders. He thought this was going to be an easy mission. It was beneath him to do it. He failed. And you're right though. They didn't really reveal that part of his personality up to like episode 8 where he had to go and report to his boss to that he failed. But before that, he's just there. But I feel like his attitude was pretty much that. He's like, I'm here on a mission. It's just not a personal thing at that point. It wasn't personal. It wasn't like his personal mission to go get those artifacts. He was just sent there. That was the mission that someone gave to him. After he failed, now it's become personal, and now he's involved because it's personal for him. But before that, yeah, we don't know why he was, other than that was his mission. That's what he was sent to do. he didn't take it very seriously either. He was very calm. This is like, sure, let's get this. Let's do it done. He wasn't expected to have like a pirate ship go against him.
Yeah, it was weird.
They're the least interesting part, which is a shame because they're very much like we're gonna have a bunch of these villains with highly interesting designs. I'm like,
it's hard to fill Jesse and James' shoes.
I'm sure like they will eventually reveal it to us, but like it's gonna be one of those things where it's like I don't know it's gonna be one of those things like if you ever go back and rewatch it after it's revealed, you're gonna be like, wow, this makes more sense.
yeah, but I'm not gonna rewatch this. This was slow enough the first time.
I'm never gonna. That's so true though. You're so correct. It was very slow. Like I don't know how we needed 3 episodes of Roy's about to join the ship. Because we got 3 episodes of Roy's about to join the ship. It was just that was so painful. Like that was probably my least favorite part. Was just like waiting for Roy to sing his song with Fuecoco. The song wasn't very good either.
I don't think it's supposed to be though, because that was the joke.
Is the dub better? Does anybody know if the dub for the Fuecoco song is better?
Oh, I saw it in dub.
Oh, not the dub, the sub, like in the original Japanese. I'm gonna look this up at some point. I'm wondering though, like if he becomes a Skeledirge, is this gonna be the basis for his Torch song? You know, the fact that he loves to sing.
He'll probably have a beautiful, powerful voice when he evolves, and people are gonna be, oh my god, that used to be Fuecoco? Because that's, ladies and gentlemen, character development.
I think a long-term Fuecoco and Sprigatito will go all the way to their final forms. There's no doubt in my mind that will happen because I mean it seems that way at least for Sprigatito based on what's happening in Japan.
Although we have that one dude with Rockruff, still. So I don't know that adult.
Oh, he's a chef. It doesn't matter.
I just want to see Meowscarada animated in the anime. Because you could do a lot of really fun and funny things, just kind of slice of life with it, just dorking around with magic tricks.
Yes, and also the internet will have a field with that.
Oh, all right. Well, overall, I think it was a very good setup. I'm excited for the next 12, which I guess will come out in June. Because I am kind of bummed that they're just like, here's the premise, see you later, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's a signature that you're a bit invested.
You're not entirely wrong.
I would have been more invested if I had gotten progression.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, guys, we're going to ask you what you think of Pokemon Horizons this week, but we are going to go ahead and jump out of this and kick it on over to our Pokemon of the episode. We will catch you all on the flip-flop.
Poke of the episode.
Welcome to our Pokemon of the episode. Our Pokemon of the episode this week is National Dex number 168, Ariados, the long leg Pokemon.
Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl Pokedex states, it attaches silk to its prey and sets it free. Later, it tracks the silk to its prey and its friends. Pretty freaking dark.
It's the long leg Pokemon?
Yes. Well, because, dude, it's actually, like, giant. This thing's giant, so...
No, I know, but, like, I think that'd be like Serena.
No, you can't do that. You can't do it. Ariados is, like... I feel like Ariados is one of the most overlooked Pokemon in the entire franchise, and I was surprised earlier today we were looking at it, and it's in, like, every game. With the exception of, I think, Gen 8. I think it made it in every gen except for Gen 8. It's just there.
It's also super bad.
It is super bad.
And it's almost always late game, too.
Base stat total of 400. Only as of Gen 7. Before that, it was base stat total 390. Because we knew it was that bad. So we're like,
those
what if
10 points really helped him out?
The 10 points were all in special defense, the most important stat. And it made Ariados rise to prominence.
Yep. Ariados has the distinct honor of having a signature move that everyone forgets.
Yeah, it does.
Shot and poison powder.
It does. It does get Toxic Thread, which nobody remembers exists.
Wait, didn't something else get Toxic Thread? Now that I say that, I'm like, wait, I think something else.
Now we have to look.
No,
no.
I'm
No.
checking.
No, nothing gets
only
it. It
So there you
it
go.
is just Ariados. Yeah, just Ariados. Wild.
Yeah.
How did we let that happen? Ariados.
Make this move.
Wait, what is happening? It also does damage.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, I know it doesn't. Never mind. I read the PP. My brain moved the PP to the power
The
slot.
power.
If it
Yeah.
did, that would be, I mean, not good, but it'd be
Amazing,
weird.
yeah.
I was like 20 base power. What is happening at level 59? We're just like, yeah, this is what
level
Ariados needs.
59, -1 speed and poison. You know, what Weedle can do at the start of the game.
Right.
Yeah, Ariados is
Little.
I wish this is if we were to talk about Pokemon that need more love, I think Ariados is like the perfect choice. Like Ladian at least like gets like a cool design of like, oh man, it's gonna punch you, but it won't actually hurt.
And it looks like a Power Ranger.
It does look a little bit like a Power Ranger, but yeah, Ariados is just it's just like, and it is surprising to me that it is like almost always there. It's like present in a lot of games.
Fun little Jushiro fact. Spinarak was my first ever shiny that I caught when I was a child. A wee
I'm
to beat
sorry.
Jushiro.
Oh
I
my
know,
gosh.
Right?
Mine was Palkia.
Ooh, you monster! Lucky you.
Oh man. I can believe that. I think the Gen 2 sprite is actually really wonky because I think the colors in Gen 2 were wrong for the original like for Spinarak, not for Ariados, I should say, but
Right.
for
Yeah,
Spinarak.
Yeah,
Super-
I don't remember it being that color when I caught him.
Spinarak was like used to be like a dark purple in gold and silver. It did eventually, like when Crystal came out, they turned it green. But it was like a dark purple, and then it transitioned to that. I don't know. Gen 1 and Gen 2 are wild times because the colors and shapes of Pokemon certainly changed after their existence, and then I feel like they came up with like a brand guideline. They're like, okay, everything's got to look like this or look like this.
My favorite thing about Ariados is that it was used by the villain in the Latios movie.
Yes.
Is that Forever?
No,
that was the Celebi one.
you're thinking of Heroes, Pokemon Heroes.
Heroes.
Yeah, Pokemon Heroes is the one where you had you had the Ariados being used by the villains.
I think that the only reason that Pokemon Masters is called Pokemon Masters is because Pokemon Heroes was already the movie.
That's not a bad thought.
Way. What?
That's not bad. I believe you.
Yeah.
If somebody were to tell me that, I'd be like,
weird way we have Spinarak to thank for hashtag Pokemon Masters EX.
oh my gosh. No, I mean, I think Ariados is I tried to find a card that was actually usable in like the history of Ariados. Because nowadays, like in modern Pokemon TCG, if you're a stage 1, like there better be a reason I got to dedicate 2 cards in my deck to you, right? And I was looking at I was looking through them, and I think I could only find one that was like maybe usable, and it's very unexciting. At any point, this was from, I believe this was the card from Ancient Origins, which was a set that came out during like the XY blocks back in Gen 6. And I do vaguely remember this card because it was used in meme decks. And we do have essentially we essentially have the same card now as a basic. and it does see play. So this Ariados, 70 HP, who cares? It has an attack called Impound. Nobody cares. 30 damage. The defending Pokemon can't retreat. Again, nobody cares. HP values used to be much lower, by the way, back then. No 300 plus HP Pokemon in 2013 TCG. I think Wailord was the highest. Like Wailord EX was the highest, and that still only hit like 250.
Right, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And but it does have the ability Poisonous Nest. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may use this ability. Both active Pokemon, except for any grass type Pokemon, are now poisoned. And that is kind of useful, especially in the history of the TCG. You've had a lot of cards that like help stack poison counters, so you can do more than 10 damage between turns. And honestly, that would work now, and it does kind of work now. Due to things like Radiant Sneasler. Like Radiant Sneasler gives you extra damage counters on poison in between turns. And we have a Pokemon that does this exact same ability, which is Brute Bonnet. Brute Bonnet, as long as it's got like an ancient booster capsule attached to it, can just do that, I guess, because why not? So it is a useful ability in the history of the TCG. It just doesn't make sense to run it now. One, because it's out of rotation, obviously. And two, there's just cards that do what it does, but better. As is the history of most Pokemon. I was just hoping there was like one thing. You know what we need? We need an Ariados EX. That's what we need. This is its moment. It's coming, guys.
In the TCG and in the game, we need an Arios Mega Evolution.
You know, I think Ariados just needs like anything. We're in this time where Pokemon are just getting evolutions hard stop. I would love for like an Ariados evolution.
Give me an Ariados evolution and give me a Lynian evolution. Just give them 200 stat points when they evolve. Spread Ariadoses around, make it interesting. Just put everything in attack for Letty and make it really funny.
Yeah, make it evolve into black and red.
Black Widow. Yeah.
With dark poison typing.
Yeah, I'm super into that actually. Yeah.
Okay, maybe not 200 stats. I thought they had 3.
No. He's no, don't give him 200, but give him like 100, 120 maybe, you know?
You know what? I take it back. Turn them into pseudos.
I want them to gain the dragon type, and I want people to complain. Okay?
Exactly.
I want him fairy dragon.
I want Ariados to become the first bug dragon type. And I want people to complain that it wasn't Flygon. These are the things that Thatch wants. I also want to watch the world burn.
And then make Letty and evolve and have its attack go down.
Yes. This is what we want.
I don't think there's much we can say about Ariados.
I mean, it's definitely in ZU. I don't even have to look this up, but it's definitely in ZU. I apologize to all the Ariados fans out there that your Pokemon is not is not going to make the cut in terms of a good Pokemon right now. It
is the weakest link.
I do think there's like a chance that like you could do something. Like I would love for it to just do something, anything to make it interesting. Because like Toxic Thread, while it's cool, is not a reason to be like, oh man, I can't wait to play with Ariados. You know, it's going to be such a fun Pokemon.
Right.
And it's so close. It's so close. You could do something. It does have
Sniper.
Is that what Sniper is something, I guess. I don't know
any high crit moves.
I wouldn't. It has to get Night Slash, right? Like, there's no way it doesn't get Night Slash.
Yeah. Oh wait.
I'm looking this up because I don't see Night Slash anywhere.
I don't see.
Oh no. Wait. Okay.
Have we found weird trivia that it's a Pokemon with Sniper that has no high critical hit?
It learns Night Slash through breeding.
It learns Cross Poison and that
Night
Slash via
and Night Slash. Yes. Yes. It does get Rage Powder as well, so watch out, competitive doubles. Here we come. Those 10 base points we got donated to us in Special Defense are going to come in useful now.
I bet.
Like, it feels like one of those Pokemon that would, like, you know how we like randomly get those tournaments with fun rules with band lists and stuff like that? Right. It's one of these Pokemon that I feel like could be just like a dark horse and actually be useful in one of those.
Maybe. It does have a decent moveset.
Yeah. Like, the move pool actually is not that bad.
Better than Jolteon.
Yes.
But that's not saying much.
At least Jolteon has stats, though.
Good stats, yeah. That's the trade.
Like, what Ariados lacks in stats, Jolteon
lacks in move pool.
But I mean, at least Jolteon could use Thunderbolt effectively.
Right, and do
we're gonna be like,
damage.
Don't worry, we're coming at you with that cross poison with our base 90 attack. Actually, base 90 isn't terrible.
Base 90 attack with our base 40 speed.
Why is it so slow? Why is it so...
Chased by an 8-foot spider? Very easy to outrun.
Apparently, to be fair, I do imagine the scenario where an 8-foot spider chases me being far scarier.
Yes.
And like I do imagine it being able to catch me very quickly. There's 8.
Yeah,
well, to be, I guess
He's not that
Ariados
big, though.
has like
He's
6
like 3
legs,
feet.
which is also really funny to me because it's not really a spider then. And like 2 of those legs are like on its back and don't really work.
So
Yeah.
the thing is, I think they're bugs because they've got
Yes.
6 legs, 2 body
Oh, yeah.
segments.
Yeah,
No, they're not because
Well,
they
I don't
have
know.
3 body segments. They have no thorax.
yeah, I have no idea what they are.
They're ticks.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, because Spinnerack does look more like a tick than it does a spider.
Yeah.
I don't think it has those legs to be a tick. I think it's just a mistake. Anyway,
It's fine.
Pokemon
It's
episode
fine.
with Spinnerack.
Or Ariados. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
that's-
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's about the same thing. On that note, guys, we're going to kick it on over to our mailbag.
It's mail time! Send in your emails! Mail!
Welcome to our mailbag. The mailbag is the part of the show where you can email us at puclpodcast@gmail.com and let us know your thoughts about honestly anything Pokemon. We typically have a prompt. Last week we asked you guys what your top and bottom 5 gym leaders were, and you definitely have opinions. We are going to go ahead and read a subset of the bajillion emails we received as a response. Out of these emails, if you inspire conversation or they're just a particularly good email or you made us chuckle or we just feel like it, we will award somebody the Green Tauros badge. As this segment is brought to you by the fictional energy drink, Green Tauros, the energy drink that gives you hooves.
Hooves!
Hooves, yeah, that's...
Our check's going to get revoked from the company. They're going to show up. We're not following our contract. But either way, we do have some emails to read. Our first one this week is going to come from, I guess, Tim.
Yeah. Good day, Pucklers. Tim all here with my top and bottom 5 favorite gym leaders. Top 5, Roxy of Burbank City, a punk rocker girl specializing in the most awesome poison types around.
Like
Plus, her
Ariados?
gym reminds me of some of my favorite bars. I'd see her band play anytime. 4, parentheses, 20, Erica of Celadon City, a sleepy grass-type gym leader who spends her time in a greenhouse surrounded by plants. Passes the brownies. We're in for a chill time. 3, Flannery of Loveridge Town. I'm sorry, we know.
We know.
I'm not gonna go further, but we know.
We know. We know.
Her hair and outfit are awesome, and she's such a dork with the way she's trying to be tough and scary, but she can't get it quite right. 2, Alistair of Stow-on-Side. He looks like a little ghostly shy guy. And number 1, Larry of Medali, because everyone knows it's Larry, even if he thinks we're crazy for choosing him as our favorite. Larry might be the best character Pokemon has done in many years.
It's so easy. It's so easy.
And the bottom 5, Piers of Spikemouth. I'm not even that bothered that he doesn't Dynamax his Pokemon. What gets me is he has the most punk rocker like Roxy, but he doesn't even sing. There are a few things more awkward than getting ready to battle him and hearing him tap his foot over and over because there's no voice acting in Sword and Shield.
Just like there's no dance animation in Pokemon Master CX.
They either need to like decide that they're going to do it or they're not, right? Like you have that scene was incredibly awkward without voice acting.
Number 4, Cress of Strighton City. He uses a pan monkey and he's a boring blue-haired waiter, and he isn't even strong enough to be invited to the Team Plasma standoff with the other gym leaders. Number 3, Silent of Strighton City. He uses a pan monkey and he's a boring green-haired waiter, and he isn't even strong enough to be invited to the Plasma standoff with the other gym leaders. Number 2, Chili of Strighton City. He uses a pan monkey and he's a boring red-haired waiter, and he isn't even strong enough to be invited to the Team Plasma standoff with the other gym leaders.
Because like you said, you started with Cress and he's not even invited to the standoff, and I'm like, yeah, but neither of the other two. And then you said the other, I'm like, oh no, he's gonna do it 3 times.
And the last one, this is the reason I wanted to read this email. Number 1, Sophocles of the Hokulani Observatory. I hate this little snot. I hate everything about him.
Oh my gosh.
I hate his dumb unibrow. I hate his stupid Festival Plaza. And I hate his annoying voice from the anime.
Oh my gosh.
This kid needs to be shoved into a locker. If Sophocles has 1 million haters, I am one of them. If he has 10 haters, I am one of them. If he has only one hater, I am that one. If he has no haters, I am no longer of this earth. If the world loves Sophocles, I am against the world. Anyway, please feel free to discuss how wrong my opinions are, except about Sophocles. Cheers, everyone. Tim.
Oh my gosh, that was too good. That was too good. All right, Sleeve. This next one's from Sleeve, and Jushiro's got this one.
Yes, I do. So, hey everyone, long time no email. I hope you all keeping well. Exciting news about CA. Great to see my beloved Pincier in the trailer. I just want to dive into 2 gym leaders in this email. One on the top and one on the bottom. For the top, Morty. That guy was the bane of my existence as a kid. He beat me so badly and so many times that I still think I owe him money now, 20-something years later. That's the Pokemon version of the school loans. The Hypnosis Dream Eater combo was too much for my smooth brain, child brain to overcome, and I hadn't thought to try biting the ghost.
Okay, to be fair, Bite did change types then, and if you played Gen 1, you're just like, oh, that's a normal type. Why would I use that?
You just assume, yep. I spent more time in Eucritique than any other Gen 2 city because I couldn't get past this guy. But I suppose there are worse cities to be stuck in. Oh, so he appears to have built his gym on some kind of short-range portal? Pretty sick, dude. Now for the bottom, and I hate to say it, Koga. His whole aesthetic and personality is great. His gym design was also pretty cool and frustrating, which is a compliment here. And his promotion to the Elite Four member really helped with world building. We all know that guy at work who fails up.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yes. I'm sorry, but I related to that comment because, oh yes, we're all familiar with that type of person. Yeah, the problem lies in his team, particularly in yellow. Venonat 3 times and Venomoth is, to say the very least, uninspired. Even in Gold Silver, when he joined the Elite Four, he can't put together a full poison team. Gen 1 has enough poison types to make a decent team out of it, and he picks the tiniest, most boring sample of those Pokemon. My main issue is he couldn't have been so much more. Thanks as always for the great content. I'm also loving the egg log. With peace and love, Sleeve.
Thanks, Sleeve. All right, our last email today is going to come to you from Red Metal Mantis. Stay away from my low punny, Thatch and Puckle Company. I have no idea what that's referencing, but he said it. Hey gang, Red Metal Mantis here again for the mailbag. Before I start, I just want to point out that you spent the first 15 minutes of this week's episode chatting about random things that happened to you all. I'm here to say that that's great. Please don't feel that you're wasting your intro minutes. I listen to the podcast while driving so I can feel like I'm with the company of 3 people I can be friends with.
Oh, you'll love this one. We talk about mortgage interest.
Yeah, we did. In one of your past random adult nerd banters, you talked about the Stormlight archives and regarded it as a must-read. Since then, my girlfriend and I have fallen in love with the books and have been reading the author's works back to back. That's just...
Let's go! I've corrupted someone!
This is what I like about this podcast. You get to hear things from people that have the same interests as you. You share your opinions, and even if they differ, it's still a good time. Don't think I missed that reference about the Cosmere during this week's mailbag. Plus, where I'm from, there's not a lot of fellow 30-year-olds that I can talk to about Pokemon or the Cosmere with. Just like Ash, I realized it's not about being the very best, but it's about the friends we made along the way. By the way, here's my top and bottom 5 gym leaders. Top 5. Sabrina, the doll she carries looks like it came straight from Ed and Lorraine Warren's basement. Her arc in the anime are the best episodes and the most disturbing ones. I only wish that Ash had kept that on her instead of leaving it with her. Well, he does get a Gengar eventually anyway, so what's it matter?
Sorry, I just read ahead. I gotta stop. This is too good.
Number 2, Norman, just a good guy, works hard to provide for his family, is a good mentor to you and Wally, and is no pushover with his slakings. I think this is what Larry would be like if he didn't go to business school and had no student loans. Number 3, Drayden, I'll be honest, I didn't play black and white far enough to fight him, but just on looks alone, this guy has drip. Move over, Professor Turo. This guy is a Trey Gigachat of Pokemon.
I think he means true.
It's a true Gigachat of Pokemon. Number 4, Kabu. George Takai as a gym leader. Sold.
George Takei, how did...
All right, Takai. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm reading words. Number 5, Koga. You might have noticed that I liked my gym leaders scary. This is still true for Koga. A plus factor for being promoted to an Elite 4 member. Plus that minimized toxic spam taught me as a kid that my Pokemon didn't need 4 damaging moves all the time. Bottom 5. Number 1, Whitney. Yes, you're bottom. Go cry about it. Number 2, Faulkner. A wild Geodude outside New Bark Town can beat him. Number 3, Silent, Cress, and Chili. Ah, yes, the 3 monkeys and their Pokemon Pansage, Panpour, and Panseer. Oh my gosh, that is vicious. Number 4, Tate and Liza. Compared to Sabrina, these two are twice the trainers with half the power. Number 5, Price. Gen 2 is too early for a proper Ice-type gym leader. We only had Piloswine and Sneasel, both of which were incomplete at the time. Also, negative points for forcing me into another ice sliding challenge just after going through 4 floors of it to reach Blackthorn City. Before I wrap this up, a question for the host today. Who do you think deserves to be promoted into the Elite Four? Smell you later, Turtonators. Red Metal Mantis. P.S. I am a stick.
If you're that you're not a stick, because that was fire.
That was the Silent Crescent Chili was so funny. Like, both of them were. Both times they were mentioned, those were equally good jokes in their own right.
Who should get kicked up to Elite Four?
Silent. He fails up. It's fine.
Honestly, I really think, we already have shirtless men in the Kanto Elite Four. When Bruno retires, I think Brock's just gunning for that spot.
Oh, no, that's absolutely the case, right? Like, Brock is supposed to replace Bruno when Bruno retires. Like, it's written on the wall. Like, that's what's going to happen. He even has Onyx. Like, Brock wants to be Bruno.
Well, I think Gen 1, like, Games Brock is just, I think he's just a fanboy.
What if they like legitimately just couldn't come up with a new character? Because if you look at the base code of Red and Blue, the first gym leader was actually originally supposed to be like a kid with like a Rattata. Essentially for you to be like, oh, the first gym leader is like really easy, it's this kid, and then they decided to change it to Brock. What if like that was such a late change, like that they accidentally made the same character again, and they're just like, well, there's no time to make him different, so this is what we got.
It's like that guy that you play, like, every time he plays D&D, he somehow makes, like, the same character.
The same character. They put that guy on
but he's like, okay, so we've got a healer. I think I'll play a frontliner, get some magic, get some swords. This is the last character I played 5 times. Hi, that's me. I'm that guy.
Yes. This checks out. I just believe that Bruno is just supposed to be Brock, but with a Hitmonchan. Or Brock is a Bruno without a Hitmonchan. Your choice, I guess. Like, Bruno is, the Elite Four in Gen 1 is just weird. It's just very weird because, Gen 1 is in general just very weird because I don't think they decided how they wanted to do things yet. And they're just like, oh, yes, the Elite Four is definitely type specialist. And then you've got Bruno, who's like, yeah, I've got, like, fighting types, but also a couple Onyxes. Okay? And then you've got, like, Agatha, who's like, I'm definitely the ghost type one, but she's got, like, a bunch of poison types. It's just very weird. Like, they even got Lorelei right there. Like, she has all ice types. No, she doesn't. She has a Slowbro. What the heck is happening? What is this Elite Four? I'm so confused by it.
May I propose something radical?
Yes.
Every single email that we did, the 3 of us, was worthy.
Yes.
I say we just give it to all of them, because they were all pretty much perfect.
The 3 monkeys and their Pokemon. was a pretty good comment. I'm not going to lie. And just writing out the exact same thing for Crest, Chili, and Silent 3 different times, also a very good thing. And Sleeves was also very good with the guy at work who fails up.
Yes.
Chef's kiss on all of these. They all get it. Okay. Okay, guys. So you all get the Green Taurus badge. If you want to email us next week at puclpodcast@gmail.com, you can let us know over at puclpodcast@gmail.com what's your favorite, what you thought of the Pokemon Horizons anime so far. We'd love to hear what you have to say. How did you like that slow start? That anime must have been a Regigigas, but tis. All right, but if you want to keep up with us throughout the week, you can check us out on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and whatever other ones we do. You can also come to our Discord at puclediscord.com. We actually got a comment on somebody put like a Facebook it was either a review or a comment on a YouTube video asking for the link to the Discord. Then it was in the survey. They're like, I can't find the Discord link. Then I'm just like, what are you talking about? We say this every episode. As you go down the survey, there is the part about the mailbag, and they say, I don't listen to this part. I'm like, well, there's your problem. They're like, please put it in the show notes. It is in the show notes every week. Just a heads up. But yes, you can come to puclediscord.com and join our Discord server. Additionally, you can follow us at YouTube, at youtube.com/puclepodcast, Twitch at twitch.tv/thepodcast. And it's a great time. If you want to help support the show, you could go to trollandtoad.com, where you can go ahead and get some Pokemon cards. Use code PucklePod5 at checkout for 5% off. Or you can come to our Patreon at patreon.com/PucklePodcast, where we will be able to go ahead and give you extra bonus shows. I think we're gonna do like a massive drop of shows this week, I think. Where all of them are just gonna come out this week because I am very off schedule. And we will hopefully get those across. So with that, I think that's everything. We're going to go ahead and end the show. I have been Trainer Thatch.
Some say I've been Jushiro.
Allegedly, I'm Lynian.
Here in the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's closing time.
It's closing time in Lavender Town. Time to say our goodbyes. It's closing time. Farewell, my friends. I'll catch you on the flip side.